In this video, we're going to work on image matching, offsets, and the order of operations. Please follow along with me as we automate the AppTestStudio Trainer application in an Android environment. Now we're in one that's a little more complicated, the daily login bonus. I'm going to click through it just to show you what it does in this demo, which isn't realistic, but it's realistic so you can write the script really quickly. We're on the daily login bonus screen, so we want to make an exception for that. And then if it's highlighted, click the day. Now sometimes the reward changes at the end of the month, so we won't want to key off of anything in here. We do have a highlight, so the highlight indicates that you should do it. So I'm going to click on it, and if you click on it, it pops up a window, and you click continue. Now normally, after you did that, they usually make you click the X. But in this case, to save time, I have it so that you have to click at least 1 week's of data. So you click day 2 and you get a pop-up, and you click day 3 and you get a pop-up, and you click day 4 and you get a pop-up, click day 5 and you get a pop-up, click day 6 pop-up, and click day 7 pop-up, and then click the X. Close the app so that it will reset. Add an event. We want to, we're on a license. Since it's running, I'll just let it go to the next screen. So I had an event when I was on the license screen, but now I'm on this new screen. So how can we fix that? You can click on take a screenshot at any time, and it'll take a current screenshot and replace it. If I'm on this screen, I'm like, oh wait, I need to do some more on here. I could just click take a screenshot and it would grab the new screen. But since I'm on this screen, we'll go ahead and take a screenshot, and we're back to where we were. I want to make a group event for daily login bonus, and I'm not going to use the level if I don't have to. Let's grab some colors here. So little star here, this red is real nice. That click me might go away, and I wouldn't want to click on any of these colors. Let's do some of the orange. That's reset after not 31 days is nice. And I'll pick a little gray on the color. Here's one where the gray is crossing over to the orange, and I get this nice brown color. Very unique for this screen. We can hit test to make sure there's no animations, and retest, and everything looks good. So now we have our group. Let's call it Daily Login Bonus Group. Daily Login Bonus Group. So let's work on day 1. So right click, add an event. We'll call it day 1. And looks like if we're on the daily login bonus screen, that means I don't have to check anymore. I know where I am. If I see this white, then I can just click there. And even though I picked the white color, I think that's acceptable in this case. So if we see day 1, we'll add an action. And the action is to click there. Let's hit run and make sure it works. And it definitely did click day 1. Now we have this pop-up. And I'm going to intentionally do something wrong here. I'm on my daily login bonus. I'm going to add an event. And we need to close the pop-up. Let's call it login bonus pop-up. Okay, so we got this pop-up. Well, I'll do a little bit on the star, a little bit on the orange, I'll grab some of these letters. Maybe some over here, maybe this continue box. I'm going to right click, add an action. The action is going to be click on the continue box. I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but this box is where AppTestStudio will randomly click inside of it when it's running. I'm going to hit run, and nothing happened. Why is that? Let's hit test, and that passed. Let's go to our daily login bonus group and hit test. Oh no, we're not there anymore. That's not on the screen anymore. It's got a pop-up in front of it. So how do we solve that? Well, we need to move this out of the daily login bonus group. That's one way of solving it. Let's do that. So I'll drag it to the events tab. It'll put it on the top. And since all of my events are exclusive to each other, the order doesn't really matter in this case. Hit run, and now it clicked the daily login bonus. Let's go ahead and right click, add a new event, and we'll call this day 2. Click on the white, and right click, add an action, Click on day 2. Save. Let's hit run. And it did it, and it clicked the close button, and we're on day 3. Now, if you noticed, I'm kind of cheating here because when you go through the days, it highlights, and I can build the script today. If you had to do this over the course of a week, you'd have to wait for that day, which you can do. Let's do a different way of solving this. So I could do day 3 and day 4 and day 5 and day 6 and day 7. But let's do it another way. I'm going to leave day 1 and day 2 alone as what we've already made. We'll do a new way of doing it. I'm going to do it the manual way, and then I'll show you the automated way later on. I'm going to add a new event, and the event is going to be called general find highlighted bonus box. Find the general highlighted bonus box. And what I'm going to do is I want it to find something that it can click on. And while I'm here, I'm going to click on this button called Create New Object with this image. It's going to bring this to the Create New Object screen. And to create an object, you have to draw a box to select the image to search with. And I want to search with this little corner here. And so I dragged a little box on this corner. Just that corner. This isn't the only way to do it. There's lots of places you could do it. And I'm going to call this Daily Login Corner. And I'm going to click Make Object. And it will make a object. It'll make that object down here in the Daily Login Corner. And it'll actually have that there, and you can see it. It'll show you where it's referenced. Right now it's not referenced. And if it's not referenced, you can delete it. Let's go back to our general find highlighted bonus. And we've been using color points so far. Well, let's do object search. Object search will let you find an object on the screen. And I'm going to click on the search object and call this Daily Login Corner. Now I'm going to hit test. And let's look what it did. So it said, hey, I found this corner. And I found it in 163 milliseconds, and with a detection threshold of 100. That's really good. That's an exact match, and it should exact match since that's the actual image I gave it. Let's hit retest, and we're getting an exact match. That's great. Let's close our test window. And inside of here, so here's what this does. I'm going to hit test. It takes the search object, and it takes every color, and it goes through every color on the screen, and it compares, it does math, and it does math on this color compared to each box on the screen. It does it thousands and thousands and thousands of times. It does math. After it does all the math, then it says, oh, this one's the closest. And so it puts a box on it. It also tells you how close it matched. It matched 100%. Later on, it's not going to match 100%. We'll see that real soon. So this is kind of expensive. I hit test again. It took 49 milliseconds. That's actually pretty quick, and that has to do with the speed of the computer, and also the image is kind of small. You'll notice that I actually did a very small chunk of the picture, and that's also important in itself because it's not going to search on the primary colors. It's actually going to use the entire image. So this blue, it's using that blue in the calculation along with the white, not just what you recognize as something different. To speed up the process, you can draw a mask around the section that you're looking for. And so I could say that I only wanted to search right here. And so I can draw a mask around this section here. Now if I hit test, it's 27 milliseconds. And I can hit retest. Oops, retest. So it's 17 to 30, 14, 13, 27. It's pretty good. Let's move the mask off of our reference. Oh, no, we don't have any other colors here yet. Oh, let's do something different. I'm going to go over here and tell it to use this as, let's do this. Let's look in this box for this image and hit test. It always will find something. It says, hey, this is the closest image in this picture. This is the closest to that. These colors are the closest to this color with a 3.9 accuracy. So not very good. So what you do is you set AppTestStudio to use the accuracy based on testing, really. So let's hit test. Now we can't use our detected threshold, but let's go ahead and set this up. So this just finds, this is an event. It says, hey, I found something. Let's go down here and hit test. So this one found it to be right here. It said this matches this picture at 57. It didn't hit the accepted threshold of 70, so it's going to consider that a failure. And that's good. That's what we want. Let's go ahead and put the mask back where it should go. And let's hit test again. And again, it found it. And okay, that's good. Now what do? We need to add an action. So I'm going to right click and add an action. When you have an action as a direct child of an object search, it does things a little bit differently. It will move the box wherever it finds it. So when you're doing your design here, you're just saying how big do you want the click area to be. And it's going to center that on, and then randomly click in there. Well, if it finds it right here, I'm going to hit test again. If it finds it right there and I draw a box around it, I'm going to get a lot more than what I wanted. It might click up here, it might click on where I wanted it, it might click on day 4, and maybe you don't want to do clicking outside of where it should be. I'm going to make this box about this big, and I'm going to use the offset. And the offset says to move the click area to where you want it to go. Right there. So I'm going to put it dead center in that area. So if it finds it here with the size of this, it's going to offset it to here and then click inside this area. Now, this is just setting the size and the offset, and it doesn't really matter where you put the box. So I could drag it here and it would still work, since I already know that this is the difference. These are the offsets, this is the place. So I'm going to actually just say, oh, I want the box to be this big, and this is the offset. And so when it's here, it'll click it, and when it's here, it'll click it, and when it's here, it'll click it, and where it's here, it'll click it, and here. And I would recommend that you leave it where it's approximately where it should be, so it makes it easier to troubleshoot later. And anytime you're in here, you can I'm going to hit test, and it's going to click on it. Let's go back. Did it do it? So right now the app stopped responding. And we actually have a component of the AppTestStudio to handle this, but I'm not going to cover this right now. I'm just going to restart the app. I don't know why it's timing out, but we'll just start it back over from the beginning. It'll take us all the way there. We'll let it go. Click collect. Click the daily login bonus. Click the close it. Click day 2. Close it. Now day 3. Oh, this was the general find, the highlighted one. All right, we did everything, and it did the general, click the general highlighted bonus box. It's done that. It's clicked through the login bonus, and now we're at a stop point. Now, how do we do this part here? So when we're done, we wanted to click the X. So here's what you could do. We actually don't even need day 1 or day 2 because we have the search. but I'm going to leave it in there anyway. It's not really a big deal if you actually pick every day. And in fact, this is so much more efficient than doing an object search. Object search is very expensive, so you do need to be careful on its use. We have our script and it is currently running, and we don't have any of our events firing off, which is what we intended. Now we want to click on the X. So here's what we can do. These events are run in order, so it checks each of these events. It goes down the list, checks each of these events, checks this event, checks this event, checks this event. So all we got to do is add an action. We don't even need an event. We can just say close, daily, login bonus. So if there's nothing to click for day 1, nothing to click for day 2, and we can't find anything, and we're on the daily login bonus screen, we can just click on the X box. Just a reminder that the threshold value for image search is the relationship between the picture that you're searching with and this picture that you're searching through. The thresholds will vary greatly depending on the similarities of the color values. Sometimes 98 threshold will work, where other times 50 is necessary. In the next video, we're going to cover global image searching, automated build, and design time screenshots.